Welcome to Inspired by JimmyL, a podcast that inspires freedom through authenticity. Take our shows and use them, honey. Use them to listen to your gut, your intuition, and allow them to give you the courage to be free in every area of your life. We believe that success and happiness is a personal thing. Now redefine it on your terms. This show was designed to give you practical tips from realistic people who have decided to no longer keep up with the Joneses. Now your intuition is your roadmap, but this show is here to give you more courage to simply listen. And to add, we are not pleading for ratings and reviews, but please be sure to subscribe and share every single show if you are inspired. I'm your host, Jimmy Warmize. Now let's get into the show. Welcome to another episode of Inspired by JimmyL. Hope you guys enjoyed September's guest, but this month of October, we have a new guest just for you. His name is Marvin Stockwell. He's the former communications director over at Church Health, right here in Memphis, Tennessee. He is the current director of media relations at St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital. He has a podcast. The name of that podcast, by the way, which if I was you, I would totally check it out. The name of that podcast is Champions of the Lost Causes. He is also one of the main reasons that we still have the Mid-South Coliseum here in Memphis still standing. He's an advocate for his community right here in Memphis, Tennessee. He is a leader like no other. He actually gives us a few tips as to why he started this journey in this particular clip. He's also going to leave us with a couple of tips as to what we can do within our leadership journey. I hope you enjoy it, and I'll see you guys on the other side.
What do you want to know?
Okay. Okay. Well, everyone, welcome to another episode of Inspired by JimmyL. This month's guest is Marvin Stockwell. Dude is amazing, to say the least. So,
You're
Marvin,
kind.
thank you so much for agreeing or just this invitation. Thank you
Sure.
for accepting it.
Sure.
So I know you've done work in all over the place here, and with from Church Health to now being the director of media relations over at St. Jude's.
Right.
Obviously, you have some type of soft heart for humanity, I would assume, and serving humanity.
I guess you could say that. Yeah, both in my kind of work life, but also in my kind of civic life, for sure. Over the last 5 years, I've been my kind of predominant issue has been things around the Mid-South Coliseum and the fairgrounds. That's kind of been my unpaid part-time job, a civic passion project, if you will. So, but yeah, I've been involved in other civic causes before. But yeah, I make no bones about it. I'm a Memphis homer of the highest order. I love my city, and yeah, whatever I can do to contribute.
So okay, and so even with the podcast that you have, Champions of the Lost Causes, Champions of the Lost Causes.
Champions of the Lost Causes, yeah.
What in the world? Okay, what made you?
Yeah.
What made you want to? I guess, and I mean, I feel like I have a predetermined answer in my mind, but I got to get your opinion on it. But
Sure.
what was the reason behind that? What about quote unquote lost causes? What made you want to go into that direction to shed a little light on that?
Yeah, well, so at about the 4-year mark of working on the Coliseum and Fairgrounds, I thought to myself, I've been at this thing 4 years. What else takes 4 years? And I thought, well, a college degree is 4 years. And I thought, well, that's an interesting thing to think about. I said, in a sense, working on the Coliseum and the Fairgrounds has really been my master's degree in activism and advocacy. Mm-hmm. And I said, I thought to myself, well, if it's been my master's degree program, where's my dissertation? And I started, yeah, that was the kind of first thought. But then I started thinking, what is it about groups of citizens that come together to work on a cause that most people think is lost, or most think is an unwinnable situation. And when we arrived on the scene, the Coliseum Coalition, that is, there was a plan to demolish the Coliseum, and we were, even good friends pulled us aside and said, "Hey, look, Marvin, dude, come over here, man. Hey, look, man, I know you love Memphis, and I know, that's good work on the Coliseum and everything, but you guys are doomed to fail." That's Robert Lipscomb, the then Housing and Community Development Director, was a man of great influence. And people pulled us aside and said, "You guys are tilting at windmills. You're not going to get anywhere. This plan to demolish the Coliseum is going to go through, and there's nothing you can do to stop it." But ultimately, it did not. And flash forward 5 years, almost 5 years now, and now the Coliseum is definitely part of the city's plan going forward. But back to the blog and the podcast, Champions of the Lost Causes, for a second. I started thinking, what is it about those groups what is it about the people that are drawn to those type of efforts? What bonds them together? What gives them energy to stay at it, despite the fact that it seems unwinnable, especially at the outset? And what sustains them and what keeps them going? Why don't they just, if they want to help the community, why don't they just join some board or committee or volunteer at their church? There are plenty of more traditional ways to where a person can just, volunteer for a cleanup, clean up an interstate overpass or whatever. So what is it about these groups that take on these causes? And what is it about, because essentially it becomes a functional work group. And I started thinking, what's similar about that type of work group and a workplace work group? How are they different? And I thought, well, first of all, that quote unquote job posting was never posted. It's an order off the menu kind of assignment. And the people that you meet, are similarly wired, and this out of the ether, this team forms. And I started thinking, well, it's different in that regard. There's no pay. The only pay is the good feeling of feeling like you're working together towards something that might pan out. There are no metrics of evaluation. There are no performance reviews. And people hire and fire and promote and demote themselves in a fluid motion that keeps groups like that with fresh legs in a way that's beneficial to them. So that was really the impetus behind Champions of the Lost Causes. And I originally thought, what would you call that job? And I thought, well, it's kind of like you're the CEO of the thing that everyone else knows needs to be done, but no one's doing. And I thought, well, that's too long, right? And then I started thinking, and not everyone's the CEO. You got your sergeant at arms, you got your role players, you got your bookkeeper. And so one day in the shower, I know it's always like, one day in the shower, I had this idea, but one day in the shower,
but it's so relaxing.
Seriously, it's so relaxing. You have your best thoughts there. And so one day in the shower, I thought, Champions of the Lost Causes, because champions is a generic word. In other words, it can be anyone who champions a cause, right? Regardless of to their role or to the degree to which they work on it. And then I just thought of the lost causes, because and the minute I came up with that title, my first blog post came to mind, or the first chapter of what will eventually become a book. The lost causes aren't lost because we found them, right? That's the whole meaning behind the title, is like, the lost causes aren't lost because we found them.
Okay, so I realistically cannot continue this particular podcast without completely acknowledging all of the mishaps in the beginning of this interview. I don't even know why I was stumbling. It was just so crazy. But as you all know, the show must go on. But needless to say, if you are looking to be just connecting with Marvin Stockwell to be a better leader within your community, I'm going to definitely link up all of his contact information within the show notes of this podcast. Check him out. Check him out. I promise you, he's worth the time. He really is. He is a leader. I cannot say that enough. He is a leader like no other. I love you guys as always. I really hope you got some amazing value out of this particular clip. More will be coming in the upcoming weeks for this entire month of October, so get prepared. Alrighty, I'll see you guys first thing in the morning on Instagram.